sound terrible. This is Jack Fishman behind the camera talking to the San Antonio Symphony's guest conductor this week, Cliff Colnot. Cliff, you are conducting Dawn Upshaw soprano in 2 works plus 2 works with just the orchestra. This is May 21st and 22nd. Tell us a little bit about the Schubert Symphony that starts this program.
Well, this work was written when Schubert was 19 years old, and it has some relationship to Beethoven, but also is uniquely Schubert, particularly contrapuntally and harmonically. It's really quite advanced for a 19-year-old, and I think it's one of his better works, and the orchestra has done just spectacularly in trying to create the sound world that I wanted, and playing with tremendous finesse and musicality.
Now, Schubert, of course, is known primarily as a song composer. Because there's a soprano on the program, did it occur to you that's why Schubert's starting off?
I thought that it would be a nice pairing to do either the Schubert Unfinished, which you folks have done recently, or this Schubert C minor, and Dawn Upshaw's Schubert medley of 4 songs arranged by Osvaldo Golijov, and I thought it was a good combination because of exactly what you said, because of the lyric nature of both pieces, actually.
Now, when we get to the Schubert Golijov, how much is Schubert and how much is Golijov?
The vocal part has been retained by Osvaldo exactly as Schubert wrote it. What he has done is basically created an introduction which has nothing to do with Schubert, an aleatoric, fairly free opening section, a little interlude, and also has reorchestrated the accompaniment of the song using a combination of artificial harmonics and very special techniques and orchestration. So that part of it is Osvaldo.
And you do a fair amount of new music. Have you done other works by him?
I have. He's just finishing up his tenure as composer in residence with the Chicago Symphony, and I'm the music director of their new music ensemble, Music Now, and so I work closely with him and Mark Anthony Turnage, the other composer in residence, and have done numerous works of Osvaldo, and he's a major force.
I saw his opera that starred Dawn Upshaw,
yeah.
First when it premiered at Tanglewood, then with the LA Phil.
Right.
It's a great work.
Spectacular.
Now, the second half starts with Stravinsky, but it, again, not completely only Stravinsky. Tell us about this Stravinsky work that's a combination of Stravinsky and older music.
Well, the neoclassical period that Stravinsky wrote a lot of his masterworks in combines music that sounds like the 17th century, the 18th century, the 16th century, with a definite 20th century imprint, usually done by him, Stravinsky, adding notes to give it a certain plangent quality harmonically, and also very inventive contrapuntally, more so than the original material. So he may do a C major chord, C, E, G, and then add an E flat on top of the C major chord to just be sure that the listener understands that we're not in the 17th century.
Yeah, and this piece also features a lot of interesting solo opportunities within the orchestra.
Yes, the trumpet, the trombone, and most notably the double bass have major solo turns, and that's unusual for those instruments, and they sound great in this orchestra. It's very, very impressive.
Yeah. And then the final piece is by a composer named Cantaloupe. Tell us a little bit about the Songs of the Auvergne.
Well, these songs are a combination of folk melodies that he collected and then orchestrated in the style of Ravel and Debussy. So what you get is the authentic quality of the folk songs, not dissimilar to what Bartók did, but then you have on top of it juxtaposed this lush, impressionistic, very, very advanced orchestration and harmonic reharmonization, if you will, of the original melodies.
And Dawn Upshaw has recorded these songs.
She has, with Kent Nagano.
Yeah, that was, I think, one of her big hit
Yes,
CDs, among
yes.
many.
Yes, indeed.
Well, And you not only conduct the Chicago Symphony's new music program, but you also live part-time in New York?
I do. I conduct the International Contemporary Ensemble there, and I do some work with university orchestras in Manhattan, and some recording work in the studios for pop music and jazz artists, and so I go back and forth between New York and Chicago.
Well, we're very much looking forward to your San Antonio Symphony debut tonight, the 21st of May, and Saturday night, the 22nd.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks.